What's happening, everybody? The world's a better place because you are here to join us. My name is Matt Brown, and I'm the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. It is Monday, October 7th, 2024, and we are about to talk all things college football. Week 6 of the college football season is in the books, aka the upset week. Insane stuff that took place in the world of college football this past weekend, and we're here to talk all about it. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to the Productive Conversations podcast on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. And don't forget to check out exclusive content regarding the show across all social media platforms. We're on Instagram at Productive Conversations Podcast, X and Twitter at PodConvoPod, we're on TikTok at Productive Conversations, and Facebook at Productive Conversations. All right. Great to see everybody. And also just want to thank our presenting sponsor, Magic Mind. Get your shot of Magic Mind. Take this before your day begins, and your life will be enhanced for the better. It improves mental performance. It creates less stress, creates better energy, and creates more vitality. Gives you that mental clarity. You take it before the day begins, and I promise you, your life will be improved for the better. You could go to magicmind.com/PCMB and use discount code PCMB20 for 48% off your first subscription or 20% off your first one-time purchase. Thank you to our friends at Magic Mind for always having our back. So, as you can see, usually I post these very late Sunday night or very early Monday morning. I mean, 1, 2 in the morning. And so what happened? I just had a long day at work, and I'm recording this at 10:15 on Sunday night with the Steelers and Cowboys game in the background, and they just started due to inclement weather. So that game's not ending till about 1:32. And most times I would stay up for it, no doubt. I just have something very early in the morning. So I will be recording that during the late morning. I will be recording the NFL in the late morning and drop both of these, as you could probably have seen already, early Monday afternoon. So just a little different from the previous weeks, but we're good all the way. I'll quickly talk about our picks. 2-1 in college. The SMU pick hit. Great underdog win for them, and which we will talk about. Clemson covers the big 14.5 point spread over FSU. And South Carolina and Ole Miss went a little differently than I planned, but that is the case. And with the NFL at this time recording, was still pending. The Saints and Chiefs play tonight, Monday night. And as I said, Chiefs plus 5.5 over the Saints plus 5.5 over the Chiefs. And then the Cowboys and Steelers again. I will talk about that on the NFL recap. And the one I did hit so far, so 1-0, is Ravens minus 2.5 over the Bengals in a thrilling game back and forth. Lamar Jackson is him. And the Ravens give the Bengals a very, very ugly loss. It continues their season now 1-4. So we'll talk about that on the NFL NFL recap. So check that out. But yes, on this show, we're gonna focus on the college football season. And just for other logistic things, we're back with another tweet cap on Tuesday. We'll also talk on Tuesday afternoon, a update with baseball in the postseason. At this time, Yankees up 1-0. Mets tied 1-1 with their series with the Phillies and Yankees and Royals. So excited to talk about all of that. And then yeah, that should round it. And then we have our picks on Thursday. Friday we have another tweet cap, and that will be another fun week ahead. 7 shows last week. We got 5 this week. And it's going to be 6 this week, actually, and it's going to be a great ride. So let us start this week with college football. All right, as I mentioned, the big thing to talk about is clearly all the insane and major upsets that took place. Out of the top 25 teams, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 went down in insane losses. Some were bad, some were close. And we also saw some close, almost the U almost went down, which we'll briefly hit on as well. But ultimately, that would be our focus, is the all the upsets and reaction to that. And why don't we first hit on the top 25 because the rankings definitely changed quite a bit. Obviously, the ones to point out. We have a new number one. Back in the number one spot is the University of Texas. Ohio State goes up one. Oregon with a big win goes up 3 spots, and Penn State not 4. And Georgia stays put at 5, but Miami even goes up 2 spots after almost blowing it against Cal Berkeley, and then an insane comeback from the Cam Ward, who is now at this moment the undisputed choice for the college football Heisman Trophy, I would like to say. And then we have Alabama going down 6 spots to 7 after probably an historic loss to Vanderbilt and an SEC loss as well. Tennessee goes down 4 points. They're at 8. And some other jumps. Mississippi, who I thought would get upset by South Carolina, and I clearly was wrong on that. They go up 3 spots. Clemson with 5 spots with a big win over FSU, and Dabo become the winningest coach in ACC history. Clearly a big deal. Iowa State goes up 5 spots, and Notre Dame slowly trying to get back to glory. They go up a few spots. LSU stays the same. Texas A&M's big win over Missouri gets them 10 spots higher. And then some other people to point out. BYU keeps on rolling with the 4 going up 3 spots. Utah goes up a couple spots. Boise State making some noise with also somebody who could be a big Heisman Trophy candidate, someone to talk about. Hey, maybe representing the Mountain West with their stud wide receiver. And then we have Illinois going up 5 spots, Oklahoma going up a spot, and Kansas State, the ugliest one to go down. We have Michigan going all the way down to 24 after their loss to Washington. Missouri goes up 12 spots to 21 with their A&M loss. It's almost like they switched spots. But yeah, Michigan goes down to the 24th spot, down 14 in the rankings, and now suffering their second loss. Arguably could ruin their chances for the college football playoff. And Pitt enters the realm 22nd. And then SMU's big win over Louisville. They are now 25th in the nation. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Why don't we just hit on some of the things here? Like, for instance, Vanderbilt upsetting who was the number 1 ranked at University of Alabama. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Where their defense, Vanderbilt's defense at home, and it was the big difference maker. They prevented Milroe from making big yardage. They made him turn over the ball. And then I believe he was I won't lie, I wasn't really much into Vanderbilt football as of late. But now, and they started at 2-2, but now with this big win, their football year is essentially made. And with this, I believe he was a 2-star recruit. This 2-star recruit out of high school. This guy, the quarterback. Let me get his name really quick. Diego Pavia, who goes 16 for 20, 252 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Pretty impressive stuff. The running game was something to really respect here with Cedric Alexander. A insane amount, 21 carries, only 64 yards, but all of them were crucial, and they got a couple touchdowns there. And then the receiving core did really well for Vanderbilt, with Eli Stowers being the guy who made the most noise. But this was truly a back and forth. Vanderbilt started off really hot, already taking a 13-point lead, up 13-0 after the Milroe pick 6. And they just kept scoring, and Alabama giving up 40 points. The Alabama defense giving a total of 40 points against Vanderbilt. As much as they tried their best to have Ryan Williams, who's becoming a stud in college football, the Milroe Williams connection tried as much to get as many yardage and make up for lost time, but Alabama ran out of time, and Vanderbilt gets this historic win. Good work for that school and that program. A lot to be excited about if you are a Vanderbilt fan. Oh, go Vandy, a team we like to cheer for in March Madness. They make some noise in the SEC with this huge upset over Alabama. And the other one, we have the unranked Washington Huskies, right? This is their chance to get revenge on Michigan, going in ranked number 10th in the nation. And what happens? It's Washington getting the big victory over the Wolverines. Wolverines repeating the same issues that they've had all season long. Quarterback issues. They couldn't run the ball efficiently as they can. And in a rematch of the national championship, Washington gets their revenge, 27-17. And again, the Michigan still trying to figure out what they're doing at quarterback. It's a little too late. And well, and for his name's Will Rogers, right? Who made some noise last season, and the backup, no, he wasn't the backup last year for Penix Jr. Or if he was, I don't remember. But obviously, Michael Penix Jr. I do remember being a stud. But Washington with the big win over Michigan, thanks to stellar, stellar fourth quarter play, and getting in the red zone when they needed to, and it was their special teams getting crucial field goals to help Washington get this win, and also stopping Michigan for when they were in the red zone and prevented them from making crucial scores in the game. Big win for Washington. Hats off to them. This was one. We had the 11th ranked USC going up against Minnesota, right? They had their ups and downs lately. And they defeat USC at home. And they're in a Big Ten in a huge Big Ten game for them, and ended with that stellar interception. And yeah, Minnesota gave him for knots. USC had a hard time advancing the ball downfield. Couldn't get a run game themselves going for much of it. And then Minnesota just had the home field advantage. And though their quarterback didn't do much, it was all their running game making the big noise. And you could thank that to Darius Taylor, the 6 foot, the 6 foot sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan, with 25 carries for 144 yards, looking awesome. And yeah, I don't know. With a big thing, Miller Moss, a couple of interceptions didn't look good, missing receivers, getting pressured a lot. Ugly game for USC, but a big win for Minnesota. And what's next? We have Tennessee falling down to Arkansas. Tennessee falling down to Arkansas. When Tennessee can only score in the second quarter, and Arkansas's offense being a problem for the Tennessee defense, ultimately Tennessee came back Arkansas came back against Tennessee, being down 14-3 in the third quarter. I'm sorry, Tennessee didn't score until the third quarter. And back and forth out in the neutral zone and couldn't make much of it. Not much going on in the red zone either until the second half. But yeah, Arkansas shut out Tennessee in the second half. And this was the one game I didn't really pay much attention to. But ultimately, after just seeing the highlights and reading up on it, it was the Arkansas defense that made the most noise. And yeah, the Tennessee just could not make much of it. weren't able to get they weren't able to get the ball into their big receivers. They couldn't separate themselves from Arkansas at all. And yeah, Arkansas gets this big upset as well. Pretty insane stuff, right? And to stick to the SEC, we have Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M just beat them down at home this afternoon. Missouri looked so lost, both defensively, and Texas A&M just blew out these guys. Whether it was from the running game, whether it was from not being able to catch these weapons that Texas A&M had, and then Missouri just had nothing to show for it, getting beaten out, making dumb playing undisciplined football, and look what happened. Texas A&M with the big upset on that one. And then SMU, who I liked going into this game against Louisville. SMU gets a big win and a big pat on the back, taking out the 22nd ranked at the time Louisville Cardinals. And the key to this game is clearly the quarterback for SMU, Kevin Jennings, whether with his feet or with his arm, not being phased by the Louisville crowd and just not being phased, getting the ball to his receivers when he needed. They got the proper protection. The running game made some noise during this game as well. And as for Louisville, just not hitting receivers when they needed to. Some bad sacks that took place in the game. And yeah, messy. Could have gone either way, but SMU pulls off the upset. I believe I got all the big upsets from this week, right? Yeah. And the only other thing to mention that we almost saw another one in the U Miami. I was getting nervous for a second, and he definitely played his worst game yet. I've not missed a University of Miami game because I just love Cam Ward so much. But at one point, being down by 25 points at one point at the end of the third quarter, they had no problem, and they came back. And Cam Ward showed why you have to trust me. And his wild comeback was a result of insane throws downfield, whether getting those slants, whether getting those post routes, and using all his various receivers in this game. Cam Ward again with 437 yards in the air, a couple of touchdowns, 53 passing attempts, and completing 35 of them. He had a god awful first half, turnovering the ball, missing his receivers. But yeah, at one point he just took a deep breath and he just willed that team to victory. And that's exactly what happened. Getting a huge 5-yard pass to Elijah Arroyo, a 5-yard touchdown pass, giving them the lead after the extra point. And Cal wasn't able to roll back in their big game at home in a college game day setting. And Cam Ward, I think, has so far proven that he is your Heisman Trophy winner. And even with this close win, and then Miami did have a respectful spread. I can't remember at the moment. Let me see if I can pull it. All right, it's -8.5. They pulled it off. They go up in the rankings. Now they're ranked 4th in the nation and clearly leading this ACC. It would not be a surprise as we're just about halfway through the college football season already, which is really nuts to say. Well, okay, next week is. Week 14 is when it's all over. But next week will be the halfway point. Cam Ward right now is no doubt your Heisman Trophy winner. But we'll wait until that season goes and hopefully can continue this undefeated season. I will definitely need it. But just some other things on Friday night. You could talk about UNLV's big game and come back against Syracuse that took place on Friday night. How about Boise State? As I mentioned, we have Ashton Jeffrey already hitting 1,000 yards, and it's already early October. As I mentioned, next week is a halfway point in the college football season. And this man is breaking tackles. This man is so quick, and this man has some hands. Good stuff for Boise State and their victory this past week, and now they're ranked. And then also, how about Army and Navy? Both of them right now are undefeated. Both of them are dominating victories over this past weekend. And yeah, hopefully they can keep this momentum. And who knows, maybe we see them make a noise, make a case for a college football playoff. One thing to definitely note, it will definitely be a big Army Navy game when we hit towards the end of the year. But regardless, hats off to Army and Navy on their incredible starts to their seasons, both undefeated and both making some big noise on offense. But that'll wrap up the college football recap, the productive college football recap for week 6 in the college football season. We'll be back at it again next week. And this time, where we will be recapping week 7 of college football already, week 7. But yes, again, don't forget this week we have postseason baseball to discuss. We got 2 tweet caps. We got picks for week 6 of the NFL season. Oh, yeah. And then week 6 and then week 7 of college football. And yeah, it's early October. Let's enjoy it. Spooky season. But yep, that will be my discussion for today on college football. My name is Matt Brown, and I'm the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. And we will see you next week with more. We'll see you throughout this week with more content, and then we will recap a week from today, the next week in college football. And who knows? Maybe we'll get some more upsets. Maybe we'll get some more thrilling games. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I'll see you all throughout this week. Much love. Peace.